Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm Scott Tingley, Superintendent Lakeway District 210, and I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend tonight's presentation. Tonight is an overview of several topics. Much of tonight's discussion will center around the progress that has been made on our long-range strategic plan. We're currently in year 3 of a 5-year plan. In fact, this event tonight was a suggestion that came from the Community Relations Group. So as we begin, it's no secret that Lincoln Way has faced its share of challenges over the last several years. The financial condition of the district threatened to impact the opportunities provided to our students. Tonight, you will hear from Brad Kaufman, our CSBO, who will discuss the progress that has been made on our district's financials. You will also hear from Dr. Murphy, who will discuss state recognition and the SAT and our AP results. Dr. Fury will discuss the major focus areas for curriculum and instruction, both this year and moving forward. But I will start things off with an update on a couple of different topics. Our first topic is school safety. Our first priority is student safety. Never did I think when I entered the profession of education 26 years ago that each and every morning would begin with the thought of that first priority being the safety and security, the physical security of our students and our faculty and staff. Times have certainly changed. It used to be that schools were the safest place for students to be. And certainly with today's environment, some of that has changed. We've tried to put as many procedures in place, but obviously we now know that nothing is foolproof. But some of the things I'd like to share, some of the things that we currently have in place. We do have security cameras in all 3 of our buildings. Those are monitored by our staff. They record digitally. We have those available to us. This past summer, we put in access controls to all of our outside doors, and outside keys no longer work. Everything is controlled by a swipe card, which we are able to control through programming. If certain people lose their accessibility to the building, all we have to do from our computer is turn that off. It also allows us to track who is coming in and out of our buildings on a day-to-day basis. We put secure entrances in each of our buildings this year. Prior to this summer, we did not have the buzzer speaker system to allow people to be buzzed in to a holding area and then buzzed on in to the building. We now have monitored student entrances. In the past, we would have every entrance or most entrances open in the morning for students to come into the building. There are now 3 in each building, and those are monitored by administration and deans on a daily basis. Any adults coming in would have to come through the main office on a day-to-day basis, even if it were before school. We restricted the use of our buildings. In the past, we would allow swimming and walking to take place during the school day. That's a practice that we have changed, and we've then relied on our park district hours and our after swim hours to allow access to the athletic areas for our community. We have Raptor Wear. Anyone who does have an appointment to come in and meet with anyone during the school day has to provide their driver's license. That is run through a system of checks before that individual is allowed through our building. Panic buttons are in every single classroom throughout the school. We have emergency plans in place in all areas and throughout all of our schools. This is a big one. We have a full-time SRO, a full-time Will County deputy on staff at each of our schools. We've had this in place for more than a decade. I can't emphasize how important it is to have those individuals here. They're very, very dedicated individuals. I have the utmost trust and faith in their ability. Then annual staff development. In fact, just on Monday, over at West, we had over 200 faculty and staff participate in an active shooter drill. We practiced 5 different scenarios of an intruder, active shooter. Over 20 Will County officers participated in that drill and helped us basically work through those plans. This will become law in 2019, so this is something we'll be doing in all of our schools starting in the fall. Prevention. This is now, I believe, the 3rd year we've had our bullying safety report online. If students are not able to communicate with a trusted adult, we have a reporting tool anonymous reporting tool that they can go to. All of our principals, associate principals, and director of PPS get immediate notification if a report is filed. That gives them the opportunity to contact parents, 911, or any affected individuals. This is something that we use often. It's been a very valuable resource. At the beginning of the school year, we share this information with all students during the orientation and then remind them throughout the school that this is available to them. Now I'm going to jump around a little bit. With the stabilization of our finances, the district has been able to invest in capital projects, both last year and then has projects budgeted for this upcoming year. Majority of those projects are related to safety. Now the first is just central and east roof restoration and replacement. Those were in the 2017-2018 capital projects. The district had gone about 8 years without addressing any of our capital needs, both in roofing and pavement. And so as our finances have become stabilized, we've been able to begin to address some of these issues. We have 10-year plans in place to continually monitor and update our capital projects plan. Last summer, we completed parking lot improvement at Lincoln Way East, a sidewalk extended from the building to the stadium, a resurface of the entire parking lot between the aquatics area, the auditorium, football stadium, and softball fields. Also improved the traffic flow, much safer for students and parents that are picking up and dropping off both before and after school. In the same project, we replaced the tennis courts at East that had become unplayable. Previous year and a half, we were not competing at East. We were busing our kids elsewhere to play tennis. As you can see, they're absolutely fantastic brand new courts. As part of our general trades package this past summer, we put new bleachers in the gymnasium at Lincoln Way East. We had original bleachers. This was also a safety concern. We were well past any of the rules regarding the bleachers. So brand new bleachers at Lincoln Way East. In the middle picture is our swipe card system that you'll see at some of our main entrances. And then on the right is the buzzer entry system that is in all 3 high schools. Upcoming this year, we hope to upgrade our security cameras in both Lincoln Way East and Lincoln Way Central. We will be interviewing 7 companies on Tuesday, bringing a recommendation back to the board for discussion in January and February. Central and East replace door hardware and update our key schedule. The purpose of this is to provide a key for every teacher that can lock every room. If I'm an English teacher and I'm walking down the science hallway and we go into lockdown, I can grab students, go into that room, I'll have the ability to lock that door. So this will be part of that upgrade of our key schedule. Pavement, restoration and replacement. You can kind of see the map down here. This will be done at Central. We also have plans for new traffic flow pattern for the front of Central that has been completed by our traffic engineers. We'll bring these back to the board for discussion in February. And then also potentially tennis court replacement at Lincoln Way Central as part of that bid package. And then lastly, Central and East Stadium turf replacement. We've had the turf since 2005. It's an 8-year warranty. They've served their lifespan for football, soccer, lacrosse, softball and baseball in the spring, marching band, PE, you name it. When you make that initial investment, you know at some time you're going to have to reinvest, and we are at that time, end of life for those 2 turf fields. West will be in a couple more years, but we have pricing, and we'll be bringing that back to the board as well. One of the things I'm often asked as I'm out and about in public is, okay, where's the enrollment? Is it coming back? Is it going? What's going on? And so both last year and this year, I at least wanted to just take a quick look. So in the last 8 years, our enrollment has dropped 435 students. We will see probably in the ballpark of 100 student drop for this next year. Now, here's a cohort survival method. That's a methodology of predicting enrollment. This is used with actual grade school enrollments. So these are bodies in seats, so to speak. And so as you can see, we anticipate a continued decline in our enrollment over the next several years. And I said it last year, and I still believe this, as long as we have 6,000 students, we are a 3 high school district. We can function very efficiently and effectively with 3 high schools with 6,000 students. As long as we are 8,000 or below, we're very comfortable in those 3 as well. As we're approaching 8, then it's time for some discussion with the board. I don't anticipate that happening anytime soon. Okay. Here's the good news, and since I'm superintendent, I get to finally say this. Usually Dr. Murphy says this, but we were notified this fall that all 3 high schools received the summated designation as exemplary. That is the top 10% of all high schools in the state of Illinois. This is a tremendous accomplishment. Very few large high school districts had all schools make the top 10 list. So it's something we're very proud of. Dr. Murphy will go into a little bit more detail about what went into those measurements, but certainly congratulations to the students and staff of all 3 of those schools. The next slide, and very briefly, here are a number of schools that were labeled exemplary. Now, the graph illustrates the funding capacity to meet expectations. The state came out with a number. Every school should be somewhere around 100% to meet expectations of being an exemplary school. So as you can see, a number of those schools are well over that 100% threshold. That means they have the financial resources over what the state designates as funding capacity. The Lincoln Ways are all below 70%. Now, part of this then, we are able to realize a little bit of additional state aid because we're below that 100% threshold. So that has been a benefit to the district. But I think it needs to be mentioned that we are, as an exemplary school, funding below the level of where the state says you should be. But this is where we are. This is who we are. We're okay with this. Now I'm going to turn it over for Mr. Kaufman to discuss district finances. Brad.
After 7 years of deficit spending, these kind of orangish bars, the district had spent its financial resources down by $41 million, resulting in the district being placed on the financial watch list by the state of Illinois. In fiscal year 2017, we were able to have our first surplus in some time, $4.8 million. $2.9 million was from normal operations, and $1.9 million was from land sales. In fiscal year 18, we were able to achieve a surplus of $7.6 million. This year, the board approved a balanced budget with a $47,000 surplus. However, within this budget, there is $3.6 million dedicated to spending on one-time capital. When you are evaluating just our operating funds, that's all funds except for capital projects and debt service, the district is expecting to have a $3.4 million surplus in 19. Over right there. As I said, after 7 years of deficit spending, in fiscal year 2016, the district hit the low point of $8.1 million in fund balance. At the same time, the operating fund balance was negative $5.2 million. The district is on the road to financial recovery, and by the end of fiscal year 18, we had achieved an overall fund balance of $20.6 million, or a 59% increase. At the same time, the district reduced its financial audit comments from 16 to 2. The state of Illinois ranks all school districts on 5 key financial indicators and assigns each district a financial profile score from 1 to 4, 4 being the highest ranking. These rankings are financial recognition, financial review, early warning, and watch. This chart graphs the district's last 15 years, over here, of financial profile scores, in which the district has gone from financial review status to financial watch, the lowest rating given. The good news is, at the end of fiscal year 18, right here, the district moved off the financial watch list and moved in a positive direction to reach financial early warning. The better news is that the district should be back into financial review status by the end of fiscal year 19. Another way to measure the district's financial health is by its operating fund balance as compared to current operating expenditures. As shown on this chart, in fiscal year 16, our fund balance to expenditure ratio was negative 5.96%. The Board of Education has set a goal to achieve a 33% operating fund balance to expenditure ratio. By achieving this goal, the district will increase its financial health, bond rating, and eliminate the need for cash flow borrowing. To achieve this goal, the Board of Education has adopted an implementation plan that requires the district to run a 3% operating surplus each year. As you can see from this chart, the district has exceeded those goals in fiscal year 17 and 18 and is on track to achieve this goal by no later than fiscal year 2026. Dr. Murphy.
Good evening. As Dr. Tingley mentioned earlier, all three of our high schools earned an exemplary rating in the fall of 2018. This rating is based upon the data from the 2017-18 school year, and it's calculated using the factors that you see up here on the screen. It's important to note that 70% of that calculation comes from graduation rate and the performance on the SAT. You can see that in both of those, what you'll see is in both of those areas, our schools perform very well. Our graduation rate, which accounts for about 50% of the rating, remains steady at about 97% district-wide. This is compared to the 85% graduation rate across the state of Illinois. We've implemented a number of programs and interventions over the past few years to help our struggling students earn their high school diploma, which is keeping our rate up at that 97%. As we compare ourselves to other high school districts around us, we can see that Lincoln Way is once again up at the top. So we compared this one to our Southwest Suburban Conferences. Ninth grade on track is another measure that is calculated as part of the summative rating. As a district, 95% of our freshmen are on track to graduate and earn a high school diploma. While this number is fantastic, we cannot help but focus on that 5% that are not. This is where all three of our high schools have implemented a number of programs and interventions to identify and support these students so that they can continue to be successful in high school. The next portion, when the state talks about the SAT, they're talking about proficiency. Proficiency in the eyes of the state of Illinois is defined as earning a score of 540 on the ELA and math portions of the SAT. The state then sets a target percentage of students expected to meet that score. As you can see, Lincoln Way does pretty well in this area. In the ELA proficiency, as a district, we're at 55% of our students meeting or exceeding that 540, as compared to the state, which is 37, and the target that the state has set of 43. Over the past few years, our teachers have been embedding SAT style of questioning into our curriculum in order to familiarize the students with the different style of questioning. It's much different from the ACT, so our teachers have been preparing for this for quite a number of years. Our math proficiency is also doing very well. As you can see, Lincoln Way is nearly 20% better than the proficiency target and 25% better than the state. Now, while the state of Illinois is not necessarily looking at the SAT scores as a whole, we still like to look at those numbers, right? And one of the things that I think is important to note is when you look at our three high schools and you look at the scores that our three high schools earned, on average, they are the top three high schools from high school districts in Will County. So they are 1, 2, and 3. This table shows the growth that has occurred from the fall of 17 to the spring of 18 with our current seniors. When we compare ourselves to the state growth of 20 points and the college expected board of 50 points and our growth of no less than 60 points, it exceeded all expectations. Again, with the embedding of the SAT into our curriculum and the prep opportunities each of our schools offer, we look forward to watching our growth numbers exceeding expectations for years to come. So on April 9th, 2019, all freshmen, sophomores, and juniors will participate in the state-mandated suite of SAT assessments. Our freshmen will take the PSAT 9, our sophomores the PSAT 10, and the juniors the SAT. Having the students take the assessment at the same time every year is going to allow us to monitor growth, which will allow us to make any type of adjustments that we need to make as far as our curriculum is concerned. Switching into the world of AP. The world of advanced placement at Lincoln Way Central continues to excel. For the current 18-19 school year, we have 80 teachers teaching 25 different courses to over 1,900 students. This equates to over 5,200 enrolled classes. Last year, 70% of the students enrolled in an AP class took an appropriate AP exam in the spring of 18, and we're hopeful that that percentage will stay the same or grow even more this spring. What you see on the table here is a summary of the students who have earned a 3 or better on an AP exam. Now, we know that this score will allow students to earn college credit. From 2017 to 18, while the total test takers remained relatively the same, the number of students who actually earned a 3 or better increased by about 4%, or about 150 students. We're extremely proud of this. This is something that we're going to continue to work on as we move forward with the new students that keep on going through. So it's really awesome numbers that you see up here with regards to students that are earning a 3 or better. So that leads us to AP Excellence. So AP Excellence is defined as a student earning a 3 or better on at least one AP exam. This is our class of 2018. Those who graduated in May. 40% of our student body had earned some type of college credit. 40%. It's quite a feat. Of our current seniors, about 33% have already earned some type of college credit. So they'll be taking the AP exams again in the spring in May, and we look for that number to continue to grow. With the AP Excellence comes a number of different recognitions from College Board. Over the past 3 years, the number of students earning recognition has increased by over 200 students. Students earn this recognition by being successful in at least 3 different AP exams. Now, we all know that the more successful a student is in their AP classes and on their AP tests, the more college credit they earn, and hopefully the fewer dollars coming out of the pocketbook for college tuition. All right, switching very briefly to the world of technology. Over the past few years, we've been able to reinvest into technology here at Lincoln Way. We've ensured that all students can connect to the internet from every single classroom. We've increased our bandwidth, and we are beginning the adventure of what one-to-one could look like at Lincoln Way High School. We have a total of 54 classroom sets of 32 laptops throughout the district. That equates to approximately 1,700 laptops, impacting nearly 3,000 students on a daily basis. In February, we're going to continue our discussions with the Board of Education on the future of technology at Lincoln Way. And now, I'll turn it over to Dr. Perry.
Well, good evening. In addition to AP and the SAT and even technology, 2 major areas of focus for curriculum and instruction this year was both social emotional learning and college and career readiness. Starting with social emotional learning, during first semester, teachers of every course in every department spent time examining their curriculum, analyzing the content, instruction, and activities that take place during that unit to determine when social emotional standards are and can be addressed. These social emotional standards were then aligned to each unit, as you can see here, so that every curricular unit in every department addresses the social emotional needs of our students in some way. All of these curricular units are located and will be located in the academics link in our website by the end of the semester. To support our teachers with these new social emotional curricular standards, staff development opportunities have been provided throughout the year for our teachers to become more familiar with the social emotional standards and provide them with support, ideas, and activities for implementation in the classrooms. Additional professional development opportunities for our staff will also be offered this summer as well. In addition to social emotional standards embedded into our curriculum, we have also embedded them into all of our asset presentations and activities, not to mention the numerous programs provided by our PPS departments. Each PPS department offers our students a number of social emotional programs and opportunities such as the See Something, Say Something program at Central, as you saw, the Mindfulness program at East, as well as the Start with Hello program over at West. Each of these programs are opportunities for students to build healthy, positive relationships, learn more about the warning signs of stress and anxiety, as well as healthy coping skills to improve students' perseverance and grit. Turning to our college and career focus, this November was our first annual career fair, providing students an opportunity to meet with over 25 union reps, program directors, and other professionals in the STEM and CTE-related fields. This hands-on event was attended by over 300 students and was such a success that the date for next year's event has already been set for October 30th, 2019, as we already are looking for ways to expand and enhance this event. Also related to college and career readiness is the offering of our Welding 2 course as dual credit with Joliet Junior College next year, allowing students to earn both Lincoln Way and Joliet Junior College credit for the completion of Welding 2, with several other dual credit courses pending approval for next school year as well. This is in addition to our present dual credit courses, College Writing, which is English 101 and 102, and Personal Finance, which is Finance 101. Also new for next school year is the addition of both Fire Science 101 and 102, as well as Emergency Medical Services 101, all offered as dual enrollment with JJC. Students interested in these careers will earn both Lincoln Way and JJC credit for these courses, giving them a jump start on their career path during their senior year. New college and career-related courses for 2019 include pre-veterinary course, where students will be provided with hands-on experiences with both small and large animals, and environmental chemistry, which is a continuation of our environmental biology track. One course that was new this year was our World History and Geography course, honors course, the course that prepares our freshmen for their first potential AP experience with AP Human Geography. This May, as Dr. Murphy mentioned, we have the potential for adding as many as 483 new AP test takers and college credit earners with this course addition. And finally, through our Career and Tech program is the Growing Engineer opportunities through our Engineering Physics course, as well as our Project Lead the Way courses, Introduction to Engineering and Engineering Principles. All of these engineering opportunities give students the college and career prep they need to head in those STEM-related career paths. And to close, one additional change or update from curriculum is the way our semester grades will be calculated starting next school year. Instead of calculating semester grades by using quarters, grades will now be calculated for the entire semester, counting 80% of their semester grade with the other 20% from their performance on their final exam. This will allow for a more fluid semester of instruction and is way more in line with how colleges and universities structure their grades as well. Grade updates will continue to be provided through Skyward at least every 3 weeks. And now I'll turn it back over to Dr. Tingley.
Okay, in the closing, we want to highlight some activities, some athletics. It's really difficult to choose what you're going to highlight because you're going to leave somebody out. So we'll blame this on Jen Hannon, our new. No, we highlighted a couple activities in athletics. Once again, all 3 football teams made the playoffs this fall. Significant accomplishment. IHSA boys state champ 2018 boys volleyball. So they'll look to defend their title this year. We know right now they'll be challenged very strongly from Lincoln Way West, who was also a finalist in the Final Four last year at state. This fall, our girls golf team at Lincoln Way Central came in 3rd at state. Last the end of last winter, Lincoln Way Central Boys Bowling, third in state. We have to show up the fantastic picture of our marching band in front of the Rose Bowl. I was able to take the trip out last week. A great experience for our students. It was really something to behold, and they did a fantastic job representing our district and community. Then we also had a 2019 Illinois Tollway Map Cover Art Contest. We had Courtney Kurtz with first place grand prize, and then Angela Farrick was the third runner-up. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and at Lincoln Way District 210. And in closing, I believe our district is in a good place, but there's always room for improvement. We're not satisfied where we are. We'll continue to work to get better. During these difficult financial times, the focus has continued to be on providing opportunities for our students. As the finances have stabilized, we have been able to reinvest in capital. However, more importantly, we've been able to invest in technology and curriculum, which has led to improved instruction. The success of Lincoln Way is a group effort. We are very fortunate to have a dedicated and diligent school board. They have remained committed to financial oversight and maintain high expectations for the academic and extracurricular programs. I want to thank the students for their efforts and the parents for their guidance. The drive for success begins at home. The teaching staff, support staff, bus drivers, and administrative team all continue to do an outstanding job and focus on the needs and growth of our students. We are fortunate to live in a community that values education. I'd like to thank everyone for their continued support of Lincoln Way District 210, and this concludes our program. Thank you.